All right, wonderful students, we're moving right along in the class, and now we're going to take a look at the overview of your analysis CSET draft of language. So you've already completed your analysis planner, and as you know in English 101, we always start with the writing process. So you've planned your ideas, you've put them out on paper, you can change them at some point if you like, maybe you want to revise or edit them, maybe you found a different example, but at least you have your plan and your brainstorm all set and ready to go for your entire essay. Now, what we're going to do in this assignment, our goal, is to take this and make it into this. So instead of writing an entire draft, right, where you're writing and writing and writing all these pages and possibly not getting it in the correct CSET format, instead what we're going to do for this, we are going to just do the language section, which means that you're going to be creating 2 paragraphs. It's going to look exactly like this. It will be in APA format, and it will be in CSET format, okay? Let's take a look at the directions so that we know exactly what to do. Notice I've got my tabs up and ready to go up here. So let's see what we're doing. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a look at your analysis essay planner. So here it is, we're ready to go. You've gotten feedback on it, and now you can look at the feedback to see what you need to change or what you did really well, or some tips and tricks as to how to put this together when you're actually explaining all of this information in written format. The next thing that you're going to do is take a look at the draft. So go ahead through the sample here and take a look and see how does this person go from here to here and explain the information. How do they tie all of this together? The next thing that you're going to do is just review these pages. So in case, you didn't get a literary device correct, or maybe you want to strengthen up and clean up your tone discussion a little bit. What I would do is I would go through each of these pages one more time to really make sure that I'm understanding each of these concepts. Because really, let's face it, what you're really showing is that you're able to identify these concepts and able to explain them in a really coherent way. You're able to explain how the author used them. So you're really demonstrating your knowledge of what you've read here. The last page I would make sure that I had up is actually the body paragraphs page from week 2. So this is a great resource to remind you of what a CSET paragraph looks like. Remember, every body paragraph that we do in this class is going to be in CSET format. So if you need a reminder of what it all looks like, you have it here. Even this example is different from the summary response that you did, and it's going to be different than the analysis that you did. But using CSET works for just about every essay. So make sure that you go through and remember that this is how we're going to be putting it together. For us, it's going to be more of a CSET set paragraph where we have a secondary setup, evidence, and tie-in, but we'll take a look at that in a second. So when we put this all together, remember that you are going to have 2 paragraphs here. You will have information that includes the following. Your first paragraph is going to be about the writing choices. So how did the author use alliteration, metaphor, simile, or hyperbole? You will be talking about 2 of those devices in that first paragraph. In the second paragraph, you'll be discussing both connotation and tone together because really they work together. And so you're going to be making sure that these are the 2 paragraphs that you are completing for this assignment. Now, how do I do this? The first thing that you're going to do is notice the following. 1, you're going to be actually creating a claim sentence, then give your examples, then provide the tie-in. And I'm kind of mousing over these different areas of your planner right now to show you what that's going to look like. So the first thing that you're going to do is basically just take your concept and create a claim from it. The author uses numerous literary devices And then what did I use? I used alliteration and hyperbole. To show his ideas about, and fill in the blank, okay? In your claim sentence, you want to make sure that you are actually stating what information it is that you're talking about within the entire text. Do not start with evidence. The next thing that you're going to do is then you're going to actually set up your information. So use a sentence, you can use a transition word, whatever you like, and you're going to provide the example. And then guess what, you guys? You already have the tie-in ready to go. So I've written my claim right from the planner. I added in a setup. Here's my evidence. And guess what? Here's my first tie-in. I'm going to add a transition word in a setup. I'm going to use the next example. And then I'm going to use my next explanation. Now, this does not give a full tie-in. So what I really want to see is, I want to see how the author uses this information or this device in the text. What does it do for the reader? This is what you're adding in to each of your tie-ins for both literary devices and then for connotation and tone. Now, once I put all of that together, it's going to look just like this. So these literary devices contribute to the article by, and then I'm going to explain how it all works together. I'm going to do that again for connotation and tone, but here's one thing that I want you to make sure you're doing. The author uses negative connotation and denotation and a sarcastic to get the reader emotionally involved in the reading. Notice what I did here. I actually made sure that my claim sentence included both of the concepts, because every single time you write a claim sentence, you have to let the reader know what it is that you're talking about. So this is a little example. Then I'm going to make sure that I use all of this information in my planner as I go along. So tell me what the connotation is. Tell me what you picture in your head. Tell me if it's positive or negative. Tell me the denotation. Tell me the other words that the author could have used. And then explain the information. Tie it all together. How does the author use the connotation to evoke emotions in their reader? Why did they choose that word? What did they want to do? Do you have to have both of these examples? The answer is no. Pick the one that you like the best or that you are most confident in explaining. Then, look at this, in the same paragraph, then I'm going to make sure that I discuss the author's tone. So I'm going to use a transition word. I'm going to go back to my planner. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the tone, the example, and then I'm going to answer the questions or use the questions that I've already used. And then I'm going to add in that tie-in here. How does the author use this information or concept? How does it connect with the reader? Now, make sure that you're really expanding that tie-in. That's what I'm really looking for. I want to see some thought here and see how the author really puts it together. Once you have completed that information, make sure that you go back. Make sure that all of the information from your planner is represented somewhere in your draft. Go ahead, hit save, and submit your assignment. Remember, it is in APA format, so you will have examples, quotes, and paraphrases with that APA citation. Okay, everybody, if you have any questions, let me know, and happy writing.